What up, y'all? It's Tar, and today we're looking at more of y'all's theories for Pokemon in 2024. Let's go. Paradox Unova theory. Hey, Tar, I recently watched your vid about Unova not coming in 2024, and through it, I made a revelation. Yeah, my dudes, cool be trolling like mad. Even now, we're discovering more trolls. Cool, son. Cool, I like you, okay? But you be trolling that map troll. If we're not onto him, and both of these are a troll, and Johto and Kanto are really the focus, and Unova and Poly is a whole ass lie, cool, you've been defeated. Anyhow, he made a revelation. Remember that cool tweet with the poll asking what the community wants regarding Unova? One of these options was a Paradox Unova game. We already got a Paradox Unova game. Blueberry Academy is Paradox Unova. Wow, okay, I see where you're going. Blueberry Academy isn't? Right? Paradox Unova, obviously we imagine it to be like an Auras-like Unova. Essentially a Unova that incorporates new elements like the terrestrializing or Paradox Pokemon. But at the same time, you could look at it as unorthodox Unova. So Blueberry Academy is unorthodox Unova. I'm gonna pull up the tweet real quick. Okay, took me forever, but I found it. So this is from July 3rd of last year. So this is about 7 months ago. This is one of those rare tweets talking about post Indigo disc, post Scarlet and Violet content, even though it was from 7 months ago. So he put, what's on your wish list? Place your bets. Let's go Unova, Pokemon Legends Kyurem, Black 3 and White 3, and Paradox Unova. 4 Unova options. Cool. Let's just quickly go through these. Let's go Unova. Nah, bro. That one's immediately off. Legends Kyurem, as you can see by the votes, it's one of the fan favorites for how they could reapproach Unova. Black 3 and White 3, it's never happening unless it's the idea I said where they sell it as its own game, but it just takes place after the other Unova games in Unova. And then Paradox Unova, whatever that means. Like I said, I guess the closest meaning is Auras-like remakes. Notice all 4 of these are Unova. It almost sounds like, yeah, so it's not Unova, because we know how Ku thinks. He trolls. So if all he gives you is Unova to choose among, listen, it's not evidence, but I see no Johto here. He responds to the tweet saying Legends is quite popular in the community right now, huh? Which could be indicative of Legends, but for Johto, not for Unova. Let's go back to you. So Blueberry Academy is Paradox Unova. Let me explain. The Elite Four of Blueberry are descendants of gym leaders in Unova, predominantly Drayden, Lacey, and Crispin. Well, we only know these 2 for now. Then you have a technically carbon copy of the Chargestone Cave. The tropical area of the terrarium resembles the atmosphere of Undella Town in the summer. Finally, Blueberry takes place in Unova. And we even have a new champion just like the Unova games. Alder, N, and Iris, except this time it's within a school and it's Kieran / Drayden. In summary, Blueberry Academy is the Paradox Unova game that Ku tease-trolled. You can also say that Blueberry Academy could also be Black 3 and White 3 also tease-trolled by him. You're not wrong. It would be kind of like there's your Black 3 and White 3, my dudes. Okay, so yeah, that is the path he was going with. That it was by paradox, he means like unorthodox Unova. And July 3rd, this was before the Teal mask came out. So this was before we even knew that Unova was in Scarlet and Violet's DLC. We didn't know Blueberry was in Unova at this time. So all of this could legit just actually be a hint at what the Indigo disc content are. And so all he's given us is Unova's options. Then we have this Legends tweet down here. Man's around you, Ku. If we're wrong on Pokemon Day, it'd be hilarious, but I think there's no Unova. February 27th, Legends Johto, something along those lines. Legends Johto theory. Hey Tar, I'm really hoping a Legends Johto is coming as this is my favorite region because it had such a different feel from Kanto. Right, so, you know, when you think back to Kanto and Johto, you put them in the same box. Like, Johto just feels like the continuation of Kanto, but they're actually so different because Kanto has some of the more modern stuff going on, and Johto has more of like the older tradition stuff going on. So they clash well. Johto is actually very distinct. Wanted to share my thoughts on potential ideas. First, Pokemon Legends Unknown. That's not a bad title. So, before I even read into this isn't a bad title if this is what they're gonna have to do. You ready? They introduce a new unknown form. And I don't mean another letter of the Latin alphabet. I mean some crazy looking form. Like some, I'm not gonna say amalgamate, but something that actually has substance to it that isn't just a letter. And if you put that on the, see, I'm just trying to market for Game Freak, okay? You put that on the cover and you call it Pokemon Legends Unknown, then you can sell it. Unknown could be a new mythical Pokemon. Think about it. You know, you had Petrarent, you know, Mars Shadows, Aurora, all that. And here you could introduce an unknown form that, even though unknown is a Pokemon back in the Gen 2 decks, there's a 600 BST form it has, where it's the new mythical, like how they introduced Enamorus in Legends Arceus. The story would focus more on the runes of Alph and the relationship that the Unown have with Arceus, which they definitely do. Runes of Alph, the alpha Pokemon, and Legends Arceus cemented that they have a connection. This would follow in line with this game being more of a sequel to Legends Arceus and could be a part of a bigger thing happening where the Legends games are true chronological stories being told. This is something I'm hoping for. So we have two eras of Pokemon, right? We have the current era, you know, starting from Red and Blue all the way to Scarlet and Violet. The games generally happen one after the other. Now we'd have a second era where we talk about events that happened in a very special time period around like 200 years ago, or like 150 years ago. My second idea would be for Legends Celebi. This game wouldn't actually revolve around Johto exactly. Maybe just Ecruteak City and Ilex Forest. Oh frick, I still haven't made my Celebi video, have I? There's some crazy things I gotta tell you about Celebi and a potential Legend Celebi. I'll do that soon. But through Celebi, you may be able to travel through time and space and visit other regions, like a future Unova, a past Johto, a modern Kanto, and so on. Okay, so the only way this could work is if they were very small slices of all these different areas. So future Unova, it couldn't be more than like half the size of Castelia City. And then a past Johto would have to be just a small forest like Ilex Forest. A modern Kanto would be like freaking Vermilion. But yeah, instead of leaving your town and picking which part of the older Johto region you want to visit, you instead visit different parts of other regions, and they are different timelines with individual stories for each timeline. So this would work only because Celebi is this free time traveling Pokemon, so it would be fitting if you get Legend Celebi and dude is just having fun time traveling with you. But it's a pretty complicated game for Game Freak to make and for fans to follow. And the big boss at the end is revealed to be Giovanni, and how he is somehow jumping through time in search for the perfect Pokemon. And the final battle with him is what causes the fight between Lugia and Ho and the events of the Burned Tower. And from the aftermath to the fight, Ho gives life to the legendary beast. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you think about this, but to me, bringing up like Giovanni and all is a little too contrived. I'd want there to be more characters introduced and stuff not to be this closely linked. So I want there to be a completely different villain that caused that stuff back there. It could be relevant because, you know, Johto is linked with Team Rocket and Giovanni's missing from the modern Johto games. And since he suddenly disappeared after the events of Red and Blue, maybe you fulfill his role of being missing in Johto by showing up that he's an ancient Johto. He's in the time period of Legend Johto. But yeah, to me, it's a little too contrived. I know as Pokemon fans, it's a lot of fun to make these fan-fakey ideas like Giovanni coming back, going a bunch of different time periods and all. But whenever I make these videos, I'm always trying to be as realistic as possible. So I just know stuff like that isn't gonna happen. But of course, y'all got some crazy imaginations. Potential title for Legends Johto. Hey T-Tar, I've been thinking a bit more about your theory on Arceus being originally from Johto. This makes me think that rather than changing the Arceus part of Legends Arceus for a Legends Johto game, that instead they changed the Legends part, so it would be called Pokemon Mythos Arceus. Though I think this is too similar to Legends Arceus that people won't be able to differentiate the two games. Yeah, that's the problem. At least you're aware of it. So maybe if we're to dig deeper into Johto, we look at Pokemon associated with Arceus Unown. Okay, I don't remember if it's outright confirmed as to what Unown's connection Arceus is, but it's a theory that the 1,000 arms that Arceus had when creating the universe were unknown. Yeah, so this is something from the start they mentioned in Arceus's Pokedex entry, that it hatched out of an egg. First off, who even wrote that? How did you know? But also that it has 1,000 arms and it shaped the universe. Now, it's kind of cool to imagine that Arceus, the little unknowns are like, it's 1,000 emissaries. I guess the way I could paint it is in a form that we can't make out, that's not really visible to us. These unknowns really are its arms, but all we can see them are like the little letters. My dudes, this would go back to making Unown into a mythical Pokemon, right? So imagine this mythical Pokemon. All it is, it's a really ominous looking arm. Like, throw up that freaking Bleach photo. You see this? That would be the mythical Pokemon. It would legit be called Unown, but it would finalize the lore and drop the big bombshell that Unown is super directly connected to Arceus and is actually, it could be considered a part of Arceus. But that would be what the mythical Unown form looks like. It would just be like an arm. Unown is a very interesting type. It's a psychic type. All it learns is hidden power. This would be a strong Unown that can learn a bunch of moves. Maybe even Judgment! That's badass. You think Arceus' arm can't use Judge? Make it a mythical Pokemon that essentially is Arceus. You know, the same way Dialga, and Giratina, they are Arceus. They just have different names, but they're Arceus. They're different like forms of Arceus offspring. Unown would effectively be one too, except even closer related to Arceus. Or imagine this. Alright, last thing I'm gonna leave you with. Instead of Unown being a mythical Pokemon, what if in Legends Johto, Legends Unown, Legends Celebi, they make a new trio of Pokemon? It's 3 different looking arms that are unknown, and they have different names, so they're not going to be called Unown, but they'd be called a spin on the name Unown. And also, like, wherever its eyes would be, even if it's an arm and the eyes on its palm, it'd be very obvious that it's an Unown, even though it's not called Unown. So, you know, just like how you have Mesprit, Uxie, Azoth, you'd have a new Unown trio of 580-ish BST Pokemon. And now we get to uncover just what's up with the ruins of Alph and why the little baby Unowns are all lurking. And maybe this is where these 3 legendary Unowns are, who would effectively be Arceus' arms, some of them. My dudes, bro, I told you, infinite ideas. Make sure to shank that like button. I got a lot more to talk about, and we got 6 weeks until Pokemon Day. That's about to be 5. It's happening. Also, I'll make that Celebi video soon. Hopefully I don't forget. There's too many things to talk about, and none of this is even filler too. It's just, we're having too much fun here. But yeah, Game Freak, make Unown a legendary trio or a mythical. It has to happen. I'm setting it up for you. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.